All right, welcome to episode number 5. It's been a couple of months since my last upload, so let's quickly recap. In my previous episodes, we explored what a typical day in the life of a Salesforce technical architect looks like. And in the last episode, we dove into integration architecture. Today, I'm shifting my focus to a topic that comes up frequently with my clients, which is Salesforce Org Assessment. This is a common request where you ask to evaluate a Salesforce org or an environment and to provide actionable remediation recommendation. Having conducted many of these assessments myself, I thought I would share some of the insights and practical tips that may help you during your next review. In this episode, I'll be briefly covering what exactly is a Salesforce technical org assessment is, why do companies request one, and why do they need it? The key focus areas to evaluate during an assessment, tools I typically use, and the kinds of deliverables you should expect to produce. So let's dive in. So let's start by understanding what is a Salesforce technical org assessment is. At its core, a Salesforce org assessment is a comprehensive health check of a company's current Salesforce instance. It provides a clear view of how the system has been implemented and how it's performing. The main objective is to evaluate how closely the org with Salesforce best practices, while identifying potential risks, performance issues, and technical debt. Ultimately, it helps uncover opportunities to enhance scalability, maintainability, and overall business value. So why does it matter? And why do companies request for a technical org assessment? The reasons can vary widely, but assessments are often initiated in response to specific challenges or strategic initiatives. Some of the common drivers includes ongoing performance issues or sluggish deployment cycles, increasing system complexity with excessive customizations or unused features, upcoming digital transformation, merger and acquisition activities, or major platform upgrades, a need to strengthen compliance, security posture, or DevOps practices, or the desire for a clearer roadmap to scale Salesforce effectively across business units. In short, organizations turn into assessments to ensure their Salesforce investment is optimized, future ready, and aligned with business goals. So, what's our role as architects? What exactly do we focus on during a Salesforce org assessment? As architects, our job is to take a holistic view of the org, not just the code, but the ecosystem it's running in. When I approach an assessment, I typically evaluate 8 key focus areas in no particular order. These focus areas help us to identify risks, uncover inefficiencies, and ultimately provide strategic recommendations for improvement. Firstly, I do an overview and a consumption. Secondly, around security and visibility. Thirdly, coding standards, org strategy, strategy and governance, performance and scalability, data insights, and last but not least, configuration recommendation. Now, let's dive deeper into each key focus areas. We'll start with number 1, overview and consumption. We begin with an overall snapshot of the org. What products and clouds that are being used and enabled. We review the license usage, data and file storage, Apex and API consumption to identify potential gaps and underutilization. This helps us to anchor the assessment in real business usage. Secondly, let's talk about security and visibility focus. We assess how well the data security is managed, are org-wide defaults, sharing rules, roles appropriately configured, do profiles and permission sets follow the least privilege principles, and we look at external access, API, integration, community experiences for external users. Thirdly, let's look at configuration focus. Here we assess the no-code, low-code components. Our automation tools like flows, the legacy process builders workflow rules are optimized and overlapped. Is declarative logic is maintainable and scalable? And we identify unused components, unreferenced metadata, redundant page layouts, and UX opportunities to improve efficiencies. Fourthly, let's focus on the coding standards. We shift focus to the custom code base. We audit Apex classes, triggers, batch jobs, Lightning Web Components, and integration logic. Check for code quality, govern and limit usage, and reuse patterns. Our naming conventions and test coverage align with Salesforce best practices. Tools like PMD, the Salesforce Code Analyzer, Clayton by Gearset often helps in these focus areas. Let's talk about strategy and governance. Governance is a critical for long-term sustainability. Is there a technical design authority or center of excellence practice in place? Are changes introduced through a defined release management process? So we look at DevOps maturity, source or version control systems, CI/CD tools, and stakeholder engagement models. If you talk about performance and scalability focus area, the performance matters both for users and for maintainability. We deep dive into performance metrics such as page load metrics, SQL query efficiencies, synchronous versus asynchronous processing. Our governor limits frequently hit things like database row locks. Are there signs of LDV, large data volumes, not being handled very well? And we focus on recommendations here on query tuning, indexing, and scalable design patterns. If you talk about data insights, here we analyze your data model quality and usage. Are objects and fields being used meaningfully? Are there too many custom fields or unreferenced fields in a layout? We look at number of page layouts per object, number of fields per layout, and unassigned page layouts by any record types. As you know, excessive fields clutter your page layouts, make your implementation difficult to maintain, and increase the page load time. And last but not least, our customers also ask us to do an org strategy recommendation. We assess whether the current setup can scale with future business growth. Our sandboxes are well structured for development, testing, and release activities. A poorly aligned org strategy can lead to a technical debt and maintenance overhead. Therefore, we give recommendations, decision framework to decide a clearer org strategy, whether it's single or multi-org. So how do I approach an org assessment? My analysis is primarily based on what we can observe directly within the org, but just as important is what we hear through interviews and workshops with key stakeholders by speaking to admins, developers, and other business users in your organization. Salesforce provides several built-in tools that we can assist in your analysis. Let's take a look at few key ones. Firstly, Salesforce Optimizer. This tool reviews your implementation and highlights potential areas to reduce risks, improve performance, and clean up unnecessary complexity. It evaluates over 50 key metrics, including storage usage, field usage, custom code, and layout design. The optimizer removes that guesswork by offering tailored recommendation for system hygiene and feature adoption. As a note, Salesforce Optimizer is being retired. It is unavailable for new orgs created after 31st of March 2025 and will be fully retired in winter 26. As a second tool, you can leverage Security Health Check. This tool helps assess the strength of your org's security settings against Salesforce recommended baseline. It evaluates around session settings, password policies, login access controls, remote site settings, certificates, and key management, to name a few. Your org receives a security score with settings ranked as high, medium, low, and informational risk. High risk settings have the greatest negative impact on your overall score. Thirdly, you can use Lightning Usage App, which is a built-in analytics dashboard to monitor Lightning experience adoption, feature usage, and UI performance. Key insights includes page load times by record type and layout, feature adoption trends, identification of slow and unutilized pages. ideal for both user experience optimization and change management planning. Fourthly, and which is the biggest usage in assessment, which is the coding scanning tools. Use these tools to assess the quality and maintainability of your custom code. There are several tools in the market space. Let's name a few. PMD, which is an open source static code analysis for Apex. Salesforce Code Analyzer, which is a CLI based tool from Salesforce built on PMD and ESLint. ESLint is especially used for Lightning Web Component assessment. Clayton by Gayset, which is a real-time code governance tool. And Checkmarx, SonarQube, which are enterprise-grade security scanning tools. Me, personally, I prefer Salesforce Code Analyzer, which is particularly useful. It plugs directly into your VS Code, which is your development IDE, and it gives immediate feedback during your development. The tool generates a comprehensive quality report, categorized issues by severity, and providing actionable recommendations, which is great for both remediation and governance. To close out today's session on org assessment, let's quickly recap the deliverables you can expect. We produce a structured finding report with insights mapped across each of the key focus area we discussed. I personally like to visualize these findings using a remediation heat map, which makes it easy to communicate the impact and the priorities. Each item is then categorized into quick wins, immediate action with high impact, medium term initiatives that require planning and coordination, and strategic long term improvements aligned with business and platform growth. The structured approach ensures stakeholders can clearly understand where to focus and how to plan the remediation in phased and impactful way. And that's it for today's episode. Over the past month or so, this has been my big focus area. So I wanted to share these highlights in the hope that they will add value in your day-to-day work. Thanks again for tuning in. I hope you found this content useful and informative. Before we wrap up completely, I would love to hear your thoughts in the comments below. And of course, do not forget to subscribe and you will never miss an episode. Until next time, ciao and take care.